Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Becky and this is Brea Makes Art, and I just finished this sketchbook today, so let's go ahead and do the second half of this sketchbook tour so you can see what I have been up to. So the first half we left off right here on this page, so I'm just going to take a quick peek here. It looks like I was working on just kind of doing some different exercises to really kind of get the flow of the form down, and there's lots of kind of lines here to show me which direction things are going. I really like kind of this idea. I haven't really used it a whole lot, but I like this idea, so I should go back to this. And then I was just finding random things on Pinterest to draw, and I really like this little giraffe guy. This guy just kind of reminds me of Hungry Hippos because he's pretty flat here. Overall, not too bad. And then looks like I was just working on kind of joining forms together, because in order to draw things from imagination, I kind of have to know how things are gonna join together, so I was just kind of working on that again. And then here, it looks like I was on my way somewhere. I was in the airport and trying to draw like the armrest of a seat across from me and kind of get it in perspective. So I was kind of working out how to do that, and really using like a box around it helped me understand how to do it a lot better. So that was really nice to just kind of like work on that and figure that out. And then here I was just like, oh, what would it look like to draw a donut in like kind of different perspectives, and just kind of turning it in my head. Over here I had watched a video where someone had designed this cool shield, and I'm like, oh, that's fun, I want to design my own shield. And so this was kind of my own design. It's okay, this is my own design. This is a little bit weird. It was kind of based on something else I had seen, and then I kind of made modifications to it myself. I like this one. I think this one's pretty cool, and this one I actually kind of like as well. I like this kind of curved thing. I like it a lot better now than I did then. And then I was working on like how to draw a Celtic knot, and I think I finally started to understand how that worked. Let's see, next page. Just tossed a prompt list in there. I do this sometimes just to give me something to draw, so I can just kind of bop back to this page to get an idea of what to draw. So then I was drawing random things from there. I got this cute little chickie, and I was working on kind of what the leg and foot look like, and then just drawing kind of random clouds and kind of smoke billowing, and just having a little bit of fun here. And then some froggies. Working on kind of what that 3D structure would look like, so that I can kind of break it down so that it makes it easier for me to draw these things from imagination in the future. Looks like a couple of otters. This face is okay. Looks like I was trying to draw like a cinnamon bun like shell thing or something here. I don't know what these are. Doesn't matter. This was kind of planning out a video where I was doing some watercolor paintings, and was kind of trying to think of how I wanted the layout to look, and so that was that. And then I was just kind of playing with like some other ideas here. I don't know why like this idea popped into my head of having like this kind of Art Nouveau style kind of layout with a golem in the middle, and I was like, oh, what would I put kind of in the different parts here? And so that was kind of my idea, that maybe I would put like some fish up here, and I don't know, what does that even say? Worms and maggots, or worms and insects, and I don't know, random things. And then like here I put the ring at the top, and then put other things on there. I don't know, I just thought it would be weird and interesting and kind of fun. I never actually did anything with it. Maybe I will sometime, because it's kind of funny. And then looks like I was following a Draw Like a Sir video, where he was talking about how to draw eyes from any perspective. So I've done a lot of studying in this sketchbook, so this was kind of just another study session where I was just kind of watching his video and trying to learn something and absorb some of that knowledge. And then rotating boxes in perspective, just kind of again trying to work on that ability to draw from imagination. So being able to rotate a box from like in perspective helps you to be able to kind of draw things just out of your mind. This is just like a little drawing exercise that I've seen before, where you draw like a shape and then draw some lines through it, and then draw shapes within those lines, and it just kind of helps with line control, that sort of thing. A cow, it's okay. random stuff that I found on Pinterest, just kind of cute little things that I found and decided to draw, random little designs just for funsies. This is another video where I was trying to figure out how to paint flame, and this is kind of the result of that. I really like a lot of these. They're kind of fun. My sketchbook tends to open to this page just because it's a little bit thicker, so that's kind of interesting. Again, just looking through Pinterest and finding random things that kind of I decided to copy. And all of these are basically copied from Pinterest, just again to get my hand moving and to just kind of help me be able to kind of increase my shape library. These were some just like random noses of fantasy creatures that I thought were interesting shapes, so I drew those. This was also reference from a drawing on Pinterest. I really like how it turned out. I was trying to take this drawing and turn it to the side and figure out what it was going to look like, so that's what this is. And just kind of notes to myself to say, hey, like, just, I kept falling into I don't know what to draw and just scrolling Pinterest a lot, so just a note to myself to say, hey, don't worry if you draw crap, this is a sketchbook, that's what it's for. So just kind of a reminder to myself. Random drawing of Medusa, a sword. This was for robotics. This idea of like a starter pack was going around where you had, it was usually AI generated, like a little person in there, and like here's the thing. So I was like, what would my starter pack look like? So I was just kind of sketching out some ideas of that. I never did anything with it because I don't know, I just didn't really feel like something I really wanted to do. These are from First Robotics. I mentor a First Robotics team. We went to the World Championship and these stickers were from there. Again, just random stuff that I found. Well, these are like kind of trying to make up a person and they're terrible. Kind of redrawing the sticker here. I think this was from imagination. This I actually did look up a picture of a fish, and I looked up this glass teapot, and I really like how this turned out. And I was really happy that this turned out well, because for a little while I was going through this slump where like everything that I drew kind of turned out like crap, and I was feeling like I can't draw anymore. But then this guy actually turned out pretty well, and that gave me some more confidence back, which was really nice. So then, I think the next page I go back to drawing like crap again, if I can actually get there. Yeah, so then I did another video where I was drawing my fantasy heads and they just didn't turn out very well. So then I decided to try and do some studies. So it looks like I was doing Sam Does Art, How to Draw Bodies, and just kind of taking notes from some of the things that he said and trying to draw like the mannequin and figure out like what that would look like and try and make it a little bit more dynamic instead of really stiff. These are very stiff, I know that, but that's okay. I did come over here to try and make it less stiff, and I think that I succeeded there. Just kind of trying to remember how the body stands, that like the chest kind of angles forward and the hips angle backward, and that sort of thing really kind of helps to make your drawing feel a lot less stiff. Then it was mermaid. I started doing mermaid and then I didn't finish. I don't know, I just wasn't into it this year. So we've got a couple of just random ideas for mermaid. These are the mirror, and I was just trying to figure out like what would that look like, and just lots of little ideas here. None of them really kind of spoke to me, so I didn't do much further. This one was cosmic, and so I was like, well, what would that look like? Maybe stars on her tail, and like stars for like bra, maybe stars in her hair. And then I was critiquing myself in terms of like drawing the body. I know that I tend to draw the torso incorrectly. I draw the breasts a little bit too high and this part too long. That's just something that I know that I do. So then I decided to do some studies, and I think that I got these poses from Line of Action, I think, and just kind of went through and was trying to use kind of the idea of the mannequin to lay things out and then draw the body on top, and I think that really helped me a lot. I still tend to kind of put the breasts up a little bit too high, and also kind of the rib cage ends a little bit too high on my bodies. I know this, so I kind of noted it for myself here and just kind of did all of these. And then went back to drawing just some mermaids. None of these are terribly successful. I knew that this was really bad, and so then I tried again, and I think this was better. It still wasn't great. This random axolotl merman. I like this little mushroom. This again was just some random little mushroom I found on Pinterest and decided to draw it. I think it was a clay mushroom that someone had made, and I thought it was really cute, and I decided to draw it, and I like how it turned out. Random shield that I designed. This was a master study of Gret Lutsky. Anyway, and I really liked this drawing that she did, and I was trying to kind of capture what she had done, and it's okay. I didn't do the whole thing. I kind of did part of it and went, oh, okay, I didn't do a great job, but that's okay. Just, this was fun to do, whatever. And then I was doing just some kind of ideation of what my sketchbook cover for my next sketchbook would look like. So just a bunch of random thumbnails here. And then I knew that this page was, I think I ended up doing this page first and then coming back to do these on here because I knew that there was some bleed through. This was, again, another video, and I'll try to remember to link some of these videos up above so you guys can see them, or down below in the description. Anyway, this was just kind of having fun with my markers, and I'd seen this on again on Pinterest, this kind of design, and I really liked it. I really like how like these kind of line designs just kind of look like everything's kind of flowing into one another, and I knew I liked that, and then just kind of doing it more like a quilt pattern. I just liked the look of it, and I thought it was fun, and I like purple, so there we go. And then because this bled through, I used this again to do some more ideation on like what is my next sketchbook cover going to look like. I was watching Drawing with Waffles because she's back, and I was really happy because I loved watching her videos. Her style isn't the style that I do, but she's just got this contagious kind of spirits. She's just really fun to watch, and so I was just kind of watching her and doodling some stuff that she was drawing and just kind of having some fun here. And like I really liked some of the things that she said in her kind of coming back video. She said she was talking about like why she likes drawing. She likes learning and having the knowledge. And it really rang true for me. There's a lot of things that you can learn and get better at, and it's really cool to see the stuff that you know and have learned. And so it was just kind of putting that down because I felt like it really resonated with me. I really like learning stuff. So like earlier in this sketchbook, I did a lot of studies, and I learned a lot, and I had a lot of fun doing that. And I think that I just kind of need to remember that like that's something that I really like to do, and so it's something that I can easily kind of fall back to when I'm not sure what I want to do. I can always just fall back to doing studies because I actually really like doing them. Let's see here. Oh, I know what this was. I was looking at a drawing that I had done, gosh, probably 20 some years ago, and I was like, oh, what if I redrew that? Well, how would I want to lay that out? Like, what would I want it to look like? And so I was just kind of playing with some of that, and then ended up kind of not doing anything there. And then this is a study of Beastie and Bone. I love her stuff. I was just kind of looking at how she does her line work, so I was just trying to kind of recreate some of that there. I went on a little trip with some friends to Interlaken and went to a drive-in theater. This is the first time I have actually been in a drive-in theater that I remember. I know that we had a drive-in theater in the town that I grew up in, but I don't remember ever going there. So this is just kind of little memory here, just stuck in there. And then I decided to get out my acrylic markers, as I did in my last sketchbook, just to kind of play with something different because, like I said, for a while I had been struggling with just not being able to draw. So I'm like, you know what? I want to do something different. Let me just get out my acrylic markers and play. So I was just looking at random ways people had drawn or painted other things and kind of recreating those. So I saw some trees that were kind of almost like cell shaded and was trying that out. I saw somebody do some rocks with some lava, try to do that, try to do a crystal. That looks terrible. And then this was this beautiful painting that looks like NHA An Na Han had done in gouache, and so I was doing basically kind of a master study. I was using acrylic markers here, so it's not going to turn out the same as what she did, but I really liked kind of the light as it fell on the things, and so I was just kind of playing with that with the colors that I have in my markers. I actually do really like this. It looks somewhat like the original, but it's definitely not the original. It's a little bit harder to do with the acrylic markers because while they are somewhat opaque, they're not super opaque, and I didn't have the right colors. I had close colors. But I do like this. I think it's really pretty. It's really vibrant and colorful, and that's always fun to see. And then again, another kind of master study. I saw this really pretty painting. Again, I think they had done it in gouache. This was by at brush_es, and again I was doing this in acrylic marker. And then I was scrolling through Pinterest and I saw just some random pictures of Canadian geese that made me giggle, and I decided to go ahead and draw those. And honestly, when I did these drawings, I thought they were kind of crap. Now that I'm looking back at them, they're not quite as crap as I thought they were originally. So that's always kind of nice when you look back at something and realize it's not quite as bad as you originally thought. It's not great, but it was kind of fun. Just made me feel a little bit better, just kind of moving my pencil around. Let's see here. Oh, right. So this is where I was doing some just kind of research into how to paint water. So I watched a couple of videos and took lots of notes on there to try and figure out, like, all right, what do I need to do in order to make this successful? This was actually before I started the first time and failed. And then here I was actually kind of looking at the reference and trying to figure out like how the water moved across, like how the shadows laid on there, that sort of thing. Really trying to be successful in my first go. As you guys saw, it wasn't, but it is coming along. I haven't made much progress on it recently, and it's going to be a little bit before I make more progress because I'm going to be going away again very soon. Again, pulling out the acrylic markers and just kind of playing, randomly just finding stuff on Pinterest that I wanted to try and recreate just to kind of see if it's something that I like or not, if it works in different colors, that sort of thing. Just, like I said, playing to see what kind of things I would want to draw, like ways that I would want to draw or paint, to see if any of these kind of resonate with me in any way. I liked how they looked when other people did it. Like, do I like how it looks when I do it? Because there's definitely a difference there. And then I was watching Caroline Art. Love her stuff. She is really fun to watch, and was loving how like she had drawn some of her wings. So I decided to just redraw the wings that she drew because I really love her line quality and her shape language and that sort of thing. So I was just trying to kind of recreate it to see if, like, again, it translated into something that I would want to incorporate into my own stuff. So these are wings that she had drawn, and I redrew those, and then I was just trying to draw some kind of swirly smoky thing. I don't like it, but whatever. It is what it is. More acrylic markers, surprise, surprise. Again, just kind of found some random stuff on online and tried to recreate it, just playing with the acrylic markers, just you know, and here I was playing with them, kind of drawing a tree, drawing leaves, that sort of thing. I realized that some of the problems that I have is the number of acrylic markers I have is very small, and so I don't have a wide range of colors, so it makes it kind of hard to do some things. So I knew that, like, okay, cool. This is a cute little sticker I bought. I went on this quilt shop hop with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, and I bought this sticker on the quilt shop hop. I decided to go along just to kind of see what the whole thing was about. It was fun, and so just kind of just a little memory here. And this is actually just a design that's on one of the pillows upstairs. And I just decided to draw it up here just because. Love this page. I just did this the other day. I started off, again, not knowing what to draw, just wanting to kind of finish the sketchbook because it was so close to being done. Found these cute little drawings of trees and decided to kind of redraw that, again, on Pinterest. And just, I kind of made some modifications to make it work kind of more for me. Love this guy. He turned out really good. He is, again, one of my fantasy heads, but love how he turned out. Just lots of good stuff. Love these eyes here. You know, this ear is great. This earring. I just really like how he turned out, and I was really happy because like, okay, I'm back to being able to draw again, because I kind of took a break and tried a different medium for a little while, and I think that really helped. There was a Medusa, and I just wanted to draw the snake body. I didn't want to draw the head, just to kind of like get this kind of curling, kind of looking right, because I know that sometimes I have a hard time with trying to figure out how to draw something like this to make it look right. So that's what that was. This is again a copy of a Beastie and Bones piece. Again, just kind of looking at her line work, trying to figure out like what she does, what I like about it, that sort of thing, if it's anything that I wanted to do. Random potion bottle. I saw this beautiful stained glass sword when I was scrolling through Pinterest, and I really liked that idea. I went out and looked. The stained glass swords that this person had, I didn't write their name down, were all out of stock. And I was like, could I do something like that with like acrylic or something like that? So that's kind of just thinking about that, because I thought it was really cool. And then here is kind of more thinking about what my next sketchbook cover is going to look like and what my first page is going to look like. So lots of different ideas here. I'm going to need to pick pretty soon, but I don't have to do it today. And then I was like, okay, what next? Well, what do I want to do in my next sketchbook? So that's what all of this is, just trying to think about like, what kinds of things do I want to do in my next sketchbook? Do I want it to be themed? Do I want it to be kind of open-ended? Because sometimes I like to do kind of more of like, here's my goals and a theme, and sometimes I like to have it more open-ended. So I was just kind of thinking about different things that I might want to do. And then I was also thinking about how I want to set up my sketchbook, because usually I just kind of do the front cover, do the first page, and then go. But I was thinking about like some other things that might make, I don't know, just like a little bit easier for me and a little bit more fun, less stressful, etc. So things like, I have a page goal for myself every month, kind of marking where that page goal is so it's easier for me to do, because what I usually do is put a sticky note in there, and then like when I get close or to that goal, then I count out and put the sticky note in at the next goal, the next goal, the next goal, etc. But I thought just having a little marker on there might be kind of nice, just to be like, okay, that's my page goal, and maybe put like a date or whatever of where, like when I want to get to that page. Again, just lots of ideas here of kind of ways I want to make my sketchbook work better for me. Then I was sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so close to the end of the last 2 pages. What am I gonna do? So I just grabbed my pen and started doing continuous line drawings. So this is a plant in my house. This is a bookshelf. I was watching TiVo, so I drew that. I was watching PBS, so I drew their logo. Then I just went on to Pinterest to look for random other things to draw. So we've got a moth here. There's little clay creature guy. There was this little, this is a little candle, and then a dandelion fluff. Just because, whatever. And then, as I said earlier, I had been kind of in this drawing slump where I felt like I couldn't draw well. And so I just wrote some tips down for myself to help me get out of it next time. So doing studies, using a different medium really, really helped. Taking a break helps. But when you have a page goal every month, taking that break can be a little bit difficult sometimes. Anyway, lots of tips here. You can pause and read it if you'd like. And then the last pages are always just kind of for random stuff. It's either for just random notes or for swatching or whatever. So I did a little bit of swatching up here. This was some notes from a video I watched. Looks like I had a packing list in here. Just random stuff. This was, I had been watching something and she had drawn like these kind of strands coming out with beads flowing out like hair, and I really liked that. I thought it looked cool, so this was just kind of a note to myself that that looked cool. That might be fun to try and do at some point. Here's the sticky note that I try to put in there to figure out like where my next goal page is. I started this year-long tracker for eating my fruits and veggies, and just kind of stopped tracking it. So that was really great. Anyway, I don't think there's a whole lot in here. Oh, yep. Planttober, looks like some stuff from a cruise, the ruler that always comes in here, and kind of looking at like some of the things that I do, what I want to do more of, what I want to do less of, that sort of thing. And that's where we are. And I have decided that I'm going to start putting my start date and end date on the back of my sketchbooks. I do have like a number on the side here, but I really like the idea of putting the start date and end date on the back as well as on the inside here. Just because that way I can pick up the sketchbook and go, oh, when was this from here to here? I'd seen some other people had their dates on there and I really like that, so I'm going to start doing that from now on. So I'm going to put this on here and then I will be done. I hope you guys had a great time watching, and I will see you again next week. Bye!